From the SnowTrailsTV International Studios, we proudly present the only show dedicated to organized reality snowmobiling, presenting topics like land access, trail development, and wilderness issues. We will introduce you to the volunteers and advocates that make organized snowmobiling possible. Ride with us on the trails to some of the most adventurous and sought-after snowmobiling destinations available, and tell your friends you're watching SnowTrailsTV Online.
Oh, hello. Welcome to Snow Trails TV Online. I'm Rob Bird. Hey, we just got into Quebec City. We're taking a swim before we start the first of a 5-day saddlebag series out of here. We are excited about what we have. This is going to be a very, very exciting trip. Stay with us. We'll be right back in a minute on Snow Trails TV Online.
Welcome to Relais la Boulonnière, Snow Trail TV.
Well, welcome back to Snow Trails TV Online. Hey, we're still in Quebec. Always an adventure. We found a place that's all washed out. Our guide and Dan, they're helping. They're trying to make a bridge. We're going to try to get over that. I'm going to show you a little bit of that as we do it, just because it's be a lot of fun. Hey, stay with us. I'll show you that in just a minute. Our story starts with a 15-hour drive in the rain and record-high temperatures to the capital city of Quebec. Quebec City. It didn't look good. After the drive, we joined our host and guide for a 4-course French cuisine dinner at the hotel for the night, the Quebec City Motor Inn. The early morning on our first day was a little rough getting out of town. With the rain and the record-high temps for the region the 2 days prior, it made for a few tricky situations. But we made it into the mountains anyways with just a little resistance. Did I say tricky situations? Well, I mean, we built a bridge. We gathered dead wood from the bush, and JC, our guide, and Dan, the other rider besides Video Mike and I, built a bridge for 4 sleds to pass. You're going to have to watch the TV show next season to see the complete story. Off to our lunch spot after the 2.5-hour delay, which put our arrival time at 6:30 p.m. Another long ride and we were at our new hotel. On the second day of our ride, we rode in the Saguenay region, which proved to be one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. We ate lunch, then off to our first scenic lookout. Did I mention the trails were freshly dusted and superbly maintained? We were not let down when we made it to our first lookout. These pictures really don't do it any justice. It was absolutely gorgeous. On to the Auberge Cacajou, the Wolverine Lodge. A beer, dinner with one of our other hosts, another beer, and a great night's sleep. Did I mention the 4-course meal prepared by Amy and Liz? Fantastic, and of course we had a bottle of red wine with dinner. The first half of our third day, we found ourselves headed off to another scenic lookout that our guide JC, Jean-Charles Fortin, had actually had part in cutting and mapping the trail. Back to the Auberge Cacajou for lunch and repair to Video Mike's motoneige, or snowmobile. Dan kept us on the trail, and myself not having to ride on the back of the Polaris IQ anymore. Thank you, Dan. We proceeded to another 4-star hotel, Auberge des Bateaux, had dinner, and I'll tell you a little later about the new things that I tried while I was in Quebec. Tonight I had the duck, and after that I had a deep sleep and dreams of big white superhighways made of snow. We stopped by an ice fishing village and heard some fish stories, and oh, it was on the St. Lawrence Seaway, and that the tides raise and lower the ice around a 12 or so feet each day, not the thickness. Off we went once again. The trails were impeccable. Caught a photo op with nature and a waitress, and off to the Auberge de Rivage, a 5-course dinner and another great night's sleep. In the morning of our last day, breakfast and the sunrise couldn't have been better. Off we went because we had a schedule to keep. We had a lot of fun that morning. The trails were freshly groomed, wide, sweeping, and full of great panoramas. We stopped by the Fairmont Hotel in the Charlevoix region, a 5-star hotel for lunch. We had a tour and an opportunity to soak in some sights and a little bit of culture. The place was enormous as it was beautiful. They say it's a hot spot for whale watching in the summer. The foods I tried on this trip that I mentioned earlier was a duck, of course, a raw salmon dish, bison steak, and of course, escargot. There were other desserts and soups that I hadn't had before, but you know, those are always good. We're already thinking about the trip for next year. Okay, I've avoided talking about the language barrier because, you know, there really isn't one. Every place we went, someone spoke at least a little English. And hey, let's face it, it's part of the fun, and they seem to always be ready to practice their English with you. But remember, most of the time they understand better than they communicate it back to you. I wish I would have worked a little harder in French class in high school, and I probably would have been able to take in even a little more of Quebec. The trails were everything a snowmobiler could ask for, and truly these regions were a great adventure. I believe that the mountain vistas and sweeping landscapes were a perfect complement to the dining experience. 4- and 5-star hotels and the rich culture of Quebec, Canada. I would be remiss if I didn't recommend you take a trip there. It was certainly worth the drive. And to the best guide in Canada, thanks JC for keeping us safe. Très bon, which means very good. For Snow Trails TV Online, I'm Rob Bird. Well, that's it from Quebec. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Snow Trails TV Online. We're still out here shooting next year's episodes. We hope you're going to like them because I think some of the things that we've seen, you really will. Hey, remember, there is no center line and the right side is mine. We hope to see you on the trail.